from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be with you inside of the Charney's Menswear and Tuxedo Studios, 3150 Erie Boulevard East in Syracuse, New York. The largest walk-in closet for men is at Charney's. Regular sizes, big and tall, all different sizes, styles, literally something for every man, head to toe. Get what you need at Charney's today. And we appreciate you going over there. Over 60 years of serving our beautiful, wonderful community. 65 years as of last year. This is their 66th. So a big congratulations to Charney's for all that they've done, for all the generations of men that have come through our great community and continue to head to Charney's. So make sure that you do. And if your family hasn't gone there, we'll start the tradition today on 3150 Erie Boulevard East in Syracuse, New York. We are inside of Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory's What's Poppin'. You heard from Papa Joe. Now it's time to hear from Ryan Blackwell, former Syracuse player, as well as the current head coach of the Liverpool boys basketball team for the Warriors, and someone who will join us in our week-long tribute that will actually go beyond this week because we'll have some more people on, but our tribute to Kobe Bryant, remembrance of not only Kobe, but remembrance of Gigi, his daughter, Gianna, as well as everyone who had passed on. And for those of you watching on Facebook.com/live-now-DT, you see the pictures of each of them. Kobe Bryant, Gianna Bryant, John Altobelli, Carrie Altobelli, Alyssa Altobelli, Christina Mauser, Sarah Chester, Peyton Chester, and Ara Zobayan, all here in front of you today as we take a moment of silence once again. Life is precious, and it's important to live it every day. Not sometimes, not when it feels good, not when it looks good, not when it sounds good, but all the time. And with that being said, a friend of mine, somebody who I appreciate in and out of the world of sports, Ryan Blackwell is with us today. Ryan, how are we doing today?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing well. And Ryan, I was talking with you off the air about it a little bit. You had an opportunity to come into crossings with Kobe Bryant during your time with basketball, which I would only assume is going to continue forever for you and, you know, your love for the sport and whatnot. Bring me into it and bring my listeners into it as well, just what your connection was to Kobe, when you got to, you know, see him or be around him as, you know, you were obviously playing and this, that, and the other and, you know, helping out in different programs and whatnot. How did you get to be around Kobe Bryant when you had an opportunity to?
In high school, just certain camps, ABC, the Adidas camp, I think it was 5-star camp, and then the AAU tournaments. You know, we played against each other several times. So he was, you know, obviously a great player then. He was young. I think I was a junior or senior, and I was pretty highly ranked at the time, and I think he knew that. So he took it as a challenge. You could just tell the way he approached the game. I think he was going to be good. He was just very serious and very focused and determined. You know, even at that age, that young age. So, and then his dad, when I was in Japan for 7 or 8 years, his dad was coaching over in Tokyo when I was playing and coaching. So, you know, I got to know him pretty well during that span over in Japan.
So I want to go. I'll kind of Tarantino it and speak on what you said lastly here about his father. When you were playing and coaching in Japan, you got to be around his dad. What was that experience like? How would you describe his father? Just what you can say about, you know, what those moments were like.
Great guy, very outgoing. You know, he played in the NBA for a while too, but he got into the coaching world. He coached at LaSalle as an assistant for a long time, and ended up in Japan. But he was just an outgoing guy, easy to talk to, and very friendly. It was interesting because the first time I saw him, I think it was 2006, we were speaking, and I guess he had told Kobe he was going to, coaching against me when I was playing, and he said, Kobe wanted me to tell you hello. That was
And like you said, having that opportunity to, connect with them and to connect with the family and to know that somebody reaches out and shows that they care. Was there anything that you took away from your interaction with Kobe's father? Any lasting pieces? I know that in the sports world, in the basketball world, it is so small. I think sports truly shows you just how tiny the earth really is or how it can become. So is there anything you took from any conversations or any moments around his father?
No, like I said, he was just very outgoing. Just loved the game of basketball. Obviously, everyone knew him as Jelly, but also as Kobe's father. I thought that brought him more respect, I think. But he was just a good guy. I think his players loved playing for him, from what I know of. And just easygoing and, fun to be around.
And then for you, I mean, like you said, you got to play against Kobe on the court itself. The Mamba mentality is what a lot of people are talking about now. And, just what that means, not only on the court, but in life in general, having the Mamba mentality. How would you describe it? And did he always have it, in your opinion, even when you played him back in the day?
Like I said before, I think that you could tell that his level of commitment and seriousness, and he just had a focus that a lot of kids at that age didn't have. I think he had to have been 16, if I can remember, 15 or 16 at that time, but he guarded me, and he took it as a challenge to guard me, and it was, you could just tell he was just different. And obviously that carried over, and he worked relentlessly and tirelessly and to be who he was, and I think he carried that in his daily life and after basketball. You can tell that everything is coming out now. He just was serious about everything he tried to do, whether it was being a father or he did a movie or whatever. He got a Grammy for that, and he's into music. He's in music videos. Brian McKnight, and did some stuff with Shaq. So it was just one of those guys, just very rare human being.
And for you, when you found out about this, I mean, it's kind of surreal. I mean, you played basketball, you coached basketball. There was a time, like you were talking about in Japan, where you did both at the same time. This sport has been such a great part of your life, and, the loss of anybody, some people have said, well, how can you mourn somebody that you don't know or don't know that well? And when Robin Williams passed away, I stopped my car. I went and pulled off in a parking lot in North Syracuse, and you would have thought my uncle died. Because, I mean, from when I was 3 or 4 years old, I grew up watching him, being in the entertainment world and caring about movies and screenwriting and all that. I always wanted to work with him. That was an aspiration someday to be able to do, just to be in the same room as him. And, so, I mean, a lot of people have mourned Kobe. And in this world, it's gone beyond basketball because of what he did for the community, because of how much he cares about kids and what he did in the movie industry and learning other languages, and he taught himself how to play piano and this, that, and the other. For you, Ryan, you got to see him face to face, and you also got to see his entire career of 20 years in the NBA. When you found out that he passed away, how did you find out, and what was your first reaction to it? Because I didn't believe it. My girlfriend came over to me and said, Kobe Bryant passed away, and I was like, no, he didn't. That can't be true. And then I went and looked at all the outlets and whatnot that were reporting it. How did you find out, and what were your first thoughts when somebody who is way bigger than the game left this world way too soon?
I think probably similar to everybody, just shock and disbelief. I got a text from a friend. I was actually in a group chat with a bunch of friends, and I was like, did I read that right? And then, obviously like everyone else, you go searching and Googling and looking to make sure it's not, one of those hoaxes where they, like Morgan Freeman, he's dead, and you look, okay, that's just a hoax. But I thought it was that at first, and then obviously when you start to hear that, obviously people start running with stuff. Well, all four of his daughters died, and then you hear Rick Fox was just, you hear all these things, and you just don't know what's going on. And then when it starts to come out, it's sad, shocked and disbelief, just like everyone. And obviously my connection through him is through basketball. So like you said, you spoke of Robin Williams, and actors and other people have died, and it's like, okay, he didn't hit
Well, that's the thing. Speaking here with Ryan Blackwell, Syracuse Orange alum and Liverpool boys basketball head coach. Ryan, you coach kids in their teens. The three girls that passed on, these are the ages that you have at Liverpool. These are the ages that come up. So what did that? I mean, did you sit down and speak with your team? Did you have a moment of just reflecting, saying, these could have been my kids? Because as a coach, I mean, you have people in this world that have barely lived. To be 13 years old, it's like the umbilical cord was just cut. I mean, they're babies. So when something like that happens to not just Gigi, but to Peyton and Alyssa that were on that helicopter, what goes through your head as a coach, knowing that you have the youth of today in your office, in your gym all the time?
I mean, it's life is precious, and we talked about it for a little bit, and I asked them, some questions, and we talked for a little bit about it, and kind of reflected a little bit, and obviously they grew up watching Kobe, and a lot of them were very sad, very down about it. So we took like 15 or 20 minutes just to talk and reflect, and then it's tough. It's tough it's like anything, like Vanessa Bryant has to bury Dominick, her husband, one of her kids. And like people always talk about, I don't have kids, but I understand that that's probably one of the worst things to ever do, that you have to bury one of your kids. That's unbelievable. And then you also lose your husband. So, I mean, it's just very unfortunate, very sad, but it just kind of just goes to show you that you just got to live every day, enjoy life. Can't really worry too much about the small things that don't really matter, and put your energy into things that are positive, and that's what I try to do. That's why I work with kids, and try to keep involved with basketball. And keep it one day at a time.
And for you, Ryan, I mean, you care so much, and like you said, you don't have kids of your own, but you have kids every day. I mean, you have kids that look up to you as a big brother or an uncle or a dad or whatever it may be, but you have that relationship with these kids, and the importance of that and cherishing that. Did the moment make you stop? Like you say, you're a positive person. You try to focus on the good things in life, but did this moment make you stop and maybe reflect on, maybe I used my energy against the wrong stuff this day, Dan, or maybe I wasn't focused on what mattered, or maybe I let something get to me that was trivial. Did this tragedy make you stop in your tracks and say, wow, I spent way too much time on this, or I didn't spend enough time on that? Did it make you do something like that, or do you feel like you are living your life daily really focusing on the positive and not letting the small stuff bother you and realizing that it's all small stuff? How did you react to it?
Yeah, I just, I'm a firm believer that we're always trying to get better every day. It's never going to be perfect. And I think that's just put it in more into perspective that that's the case. It's just we're always trying to be better, and we can always be better. And if you're really going to, for me, it's like when I told my kids, it's like I sent them a few things, a few memes, or the people that posted it, and they talk about working hard. I said, if you guys really understand what Kobe stood for and how he got to where he is, it's like no matter what you're going to do, you have to do it 100% every day. You can't you work hard 2 days or 3 days out of the week and expect to be good or great. I tell my kids, you want more playing time? Well, this is how you have to do it. If you're really a firm believer in, I love Kobe, well, that mentality is you have to do it every day and you have to work hard. But I said, you guys aren't working as hard as you can. So if you could take anything from that, it's like you have to put more of an effort into whatever you're doing on a daily basis, whether it's your schoolwork or your sport or whatever you're trying to get better at. It's got to be a daily occurrence. It can't be half-assed or inconsistent. So I think that's one of the biggest keys and points.
For you, speaking with Ryan Blackwell, Syracuse Orange alum, as well as the Liverpool Warriors boys basketball head coach. You coach boys basketball. Obviously, you are a man in this world, but it is so imperative and so important. And since since forever, when I started my career, I had women's basketball, and, women's athletics had a connection. I had a connection with that. For you, what does it mean to you to have equality with women's basketball and women's athletics in general, for women to be able to be paid enough to live off of it, to be promoted enough to be out there in the community, and to change the narrative of you play like a girl to a positive thing? What can you say about that? Because you know it and I know it, that women have not been treated equally in sports for a since the beginning of sports. How do we change that? Kobe was big on that. His daughter looked like she was going to be a killer out there too. So what can you say about, maybe going off of Kobe's lead and some of the other pieces out there, and maybe something that you've done in your life that has helped to build up women in sports and to kill the narrative of, well, I watch basketball, but I don't watch women's basketball. I can't stand when I hear stuff like that. So, kind of what's your take on it?
Yeah, I work in a school. I support our girls' teams, our girls' programs, and obviously I have a mother and a niece, and I have cousins. And for me, I've never thought any differently. It's just, it is what it is. If you're good enough, to play basketball as a female and you can get paid for it, so be it. More power to you. And I understand a lot of it is, supply and demand. If there's a demand for fans to want to see basketball more, then they're going to get paid. So I understand that aspect too. It's also a business, and it's about generating money. But you like watching UConn basketball is just as good to me as watching men's basketball sometimes. Because obviously that's a high level of basketball. Breanna Stewart is unbelievable. Love watching her play. So it's everything's becoming more of a level playing field and equal. Obviously, we're not there 100%, but things take time. So, like I said, I continue to support all of our programs, male and female, as I always have, and I'll continue to do so.
Ryan Blackwell here with us, speaking on women's athletics, as well as remembering Kobe Bryant, Gigi Bryant, and everybody that had passed away. Ryan, before I let you go, I do want to jump into your season. I know that you have had to play all your games on the road. You haven't had any true home games this year, unfortunately, with the renovations, which will obviously help you out in the future at Liverpool. But right now, it's cause for the team to have a little bit of an interesting, road, figuratively and realistically and literally this season. You're going to spend the rest of your regular season on the road at CNS, at University Prep, at Beeville, at Nottingham, at Henniger, and at ESM. Thoughts on the season up to this point? You and I met about it and spoke about it a little bit ago, but where are things at right now? I know the team's won 2 of their last 3. You defeated Corcoran, and you won at FM and lost a close one in between that at West Genesee. What's your take right now as you have 6 true road games to end out the regular season?
Well, we're right there. We beat some good teams. We lost at the buzzer to Beeville, who's at the top of our league. Close one to West Genesee, so we split with them, beat Corcoran twice. So we're right there, and it's we're dealing with it, not having a gym, being on the road for all of our games, basically. Not having a practice gym. So it's one of those seasons, makeshift season, but we're on the phone because we're talking about Kobe Bryant. So you got to have that Mamba mentality. You just have to put everything aside, work hard. Not always going to be easy, but these guys just have to continue to work and stay focused, and that we can win the section, and they know that. And if we do win the section with everything we've been dealing with, that even makes it that much better. So we have some tough games coming up that are winnable games, but just have to continue to work hard every day and see what happens.
You brought up the Mamba mentality. We've talked about it here on the show today. What does the Mamba mentality mean to you in your life?
You just have to work hard and do it every day. Like I said before, you can't do it 2 or 3 days out of the week if you really want something. It's got to be every day. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be focused, and you have to block out all the negativity and all the distractions, whether it's friends, girlfriends, video games, whatever it may be. If you really want something in life, Just have to focus and go get it done. That's really what it's about.
Was it ever hard for you to focus on the court or off the court? Did you have moments of strife, moments of adversity where you had to train yourself to focus? And if so, what did you do to kind of bring yourself either back to a place or bring yourself to a place where you could lock things out?
Yeah, just remembering what what it's taken to get to a certain point. I didn't play at Syracuse because I was tall or just athletic or skilled. It's because I worked at it. So there was times where maybe I lost focus, and you just have to remember what it takes or what it has taken to get to a certain point. And it's just really doing it on a consistent basis. I think everyone goes through that. There's always going to be ups and downs, no matter who you are, what's going on in your life. You're going to have distractions and times of, where things don't go your way. So really it's just about continuing on and continuing to work and staying positive each and every day.
Yeah, coming from Ryan Blackwell here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Ryan, really quick here in closing, you talk about staying positive and just keeping with it every single day. At Syracuse men's basketball team, your alma mater, stayed with it, and they won 5 games in a row. They played a lot of close games this season. They lost, obviously, at home in a close one to Notre Dame, 88-87. They lost a close one at home against Virginia Tech, 67-63. Then they went on a 5-game winning streak, which outside of Boston College, all the games are close. Virginia went to overtime, 63-55 on the road. They beat Virginia Tech on the road by 2. They beat Notre Dame on the road by 2. They defeated Pittsburgh, kind of came away with it toward the end by 8. And they just lost on the road at Clemson by 1 point in a game that was going back and forth. What can you say about this year's Syracuse Orange men's basketball team? And secondly, I'm sure you have a grin on your face right now. I can't see it. It's over the phone, but we talk about the fans, and then we talk about the people that call themselves the fans, the fair weathers, and, just the reality of the fact that, if you believe in Syracuse, you believe in Syracuse. And some people believe in Syracuse when it's convenient. So what can you say about the team this year, gutting it out, playing a lot of close games, and then maybe how you've seen, people shift from, oh, this team's horrible, to, I think I'm going to go to the game on Saturday?
Yeah, that's seems to be a common theme in a lot of sports. That's just how it goes, and I think maybe in Syracuse, especially with the football season, I think basketball they always look forward to in that positive light for sports around here, and they got off to a shaky start, and like I always tell my guys, it's the same thing. It's not over until it's over. It's a marathon, and you got to figure out where you are at the end of the season, and they continue to work hard and figure it out, and then obviously they have one of the greatest basketball minds around. And a tough guy to lead them, who's done this for so many years and always seems to figure it out. So I knew if they continue to work hard, they would get it right, and they have. They start to play well. They're starting to play better, and they're starting to get contributions from Guerrier, from Quincy, and guys from the bench. So they lost a tough one to Clemson, and they got a tough game, this Saturday, which would be great in the Dome. Playing against Duke, I'm sure they're going to have at least 30,000 people, which would be great.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. They've got some tough games coming up, but if they continue to play the way they've been playing, they can win, and you just never know what's going to happen.
That coming from Ryan Blackwell here on the broadcast. Ryan, as always, I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing for the kids in our community, and I know that you're one of those people that takes life as precious and tends to laugh and joke around. You have that relationship with your team, and you have that, like you said when we sat down together, you said, it's just a group of characters, just a bunch of different personalities and whatnot. So is it important to you and imperative to you that beyond wins and losses and beyond everything, that these kids have fun and that they enjoy the time they have? Because it seems like they really do have a good bond with you as a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my demeanor, my personality. Obviously you want to work hard and be serious at times, but also you want to enjoy life and have to keep it light. You got to have that good balance.
And you do, you definitely do. And you got the personalities to do it, Ryan, and I know that. So we'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Ryan, as always, I appreciate you, and my best to Liverpool. You and I will keep in touch through all of this, and thank you for sharing your time with Kobe on the court, which I think very few people can say, which is pretty cool. And I look forward to talking with you soon, and my best with your team as you step forward into these next 6 games of the regular season.